Hey, what's up everybody? Alex is finally out. So I got a quick starter guide here to get you to master and learn this character on the right foot. He's pretty complicated, so just a quick heads up, this isn't a full guide, just a starter guide, but don't worry, I got you. I'm going to show you everything you need to know. And before we get into this guide, don't forget, if you like what you see here, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me more than you can imagine. All right, let's get into this guide. So first of all, his general game plan. Alex is kind of like this weird hybrid between like Marissa, Zangief, and like some like kind of striking, Ryu kind of characters who wants to chip out your drive gauge. So as you can see here, just from like a simple charge hard punch to corsical forward hard punch kind of special thing, it takes away 1.5 bars of drive gauge. A single standing hard punch is like half a bar of drive. Same with standing hard kick. So he's got these really long ranging moves that really chip away your drive gauge. And then he also has, of course, a command grab to kind of complement it all together. Although he doesn't really have the fastest walk speed and his drive rush is kind of meh. So you're not really going to be rushing down and drive rushing at people to kind of open them up. You kind of want to play this character at mid-range as like a poke, counter poke character because he gets crazy reward off of both counter hits and punish counters. But we're going to go through that a little bit later. Then once he gets in, you can kind of threaten with the command grab or the OD command grab and things like that. Also, unlike some grapplers, he has a pretty good anti-air with this DP. DP plus kick, the light version and the medium version are both pretty good anti-airs. Not always incredibly useful in crosscut situations, but it's better to not have it, and he gets pretty decent knockdown, especially after the OD version, which is a huge part of his game, which we're going to go over later. So basically, at the end of the day, you want to play this kind of like a footsies poking, counter poking character, try to get in, get a good knockdown with good Oki, and most importantly, bring your opponent to the corner and try to have 2 bars of super, because this character gets crazy damage once he opens you up in the corner, but we're going to go over that in a second. So I know one thing everybody always checks when it comes to these guys are combos, so I'm going to give you what I think are the most important combos that you need to learn. A big mistake a lot of new players make when they're picking up a character, they think they have to learn like all these pages of combos and things like that. Not true. You can get by to master with this character with just a few simple combos, and I'm going to show you the combos and the combo theory, like what you should do on knockdown. So let's start with the most basic one, something just like 2 jabs into a DP hard kick. So a DP motion into hard kick. This gives pretty good damage. You can even get 3 lights if you're close. Confirming into this is really good. You don't really get Oki set play after this, but you kind of do. So what you can do is if your opponent is rolling backwards mid-screen after this, you can drive rush at your opponent and you can't throw them after this if they wake up with a 4-frame button. But you can threaten with a meaty attack, and this gives you a counter hit, and this gives you really good reward. So basically, you have to make your opponent respect your pressure options here. Something like standing medium punch. Crouching medium kick is also really good. This way they can't just parry you one way. They have to change their parry timing. And then, of course, he also has an overhead, which leads to good combos. So he has a full mix, but just remember, if you want to try to like get them to stop pushing buttons, you got to hit them with the meaty, and then once you do that, then you can kind of add the regular throw or even a command grab. Both are kind of fake, but again, if you kind of condition your opponent to stop pushing buttons, you open yourself up to more possibilities after that knockdown. In the corner, same thing. You can just do lights into this heavy DP ender, but in the corner, this becomes really, really strong because all you want to do here is just do this and then immediately dash up, just one single forward dash. And if you do that, if you look here, see 7 frames in blue. Alex is going to be +7 here, and he can enforce full strike throw shimmy. He has a full Oki like wake up set play thing here. It's crazy strong for meterless. So what would you want to do in this situation in the corner? Let's say you think your opponent's going to wake up with a 4-frame. You can dash forward, slightly delay your regular throw, because if you do it right away, it's actually going to whiff because you're +7. So you have to delay it just a little bit, and then you can get a meaty throw, or back medium kick. This is a really good meaty button. You just want to link into standing medium punch, and then you can do something like this, or you can just loop the whole situation and go back into the same thing, mix them up again between throw, back medium kick, your medium punch command grab, which doesn't give you Oki, it just kind of resets the whole pressure. Or if you want to shimmy them here, you can shimmy too. So you can just shimmy them here, and again, loop the exact situation. And this is without using drive gauge. Now, the next combo I want to show you is going to be a combo using OD chop, this thing. It's really good in the corner when you have 2 bars of super, and this is what you always want to kind of aim for in the corner. So basically you just do any starter. It works from like crouching light punch into this. It works from standing medium punch into this, crouching medium punch into this. Anything kind of like links into it, even like standing light kick. This is a full combo. So what you're going to do is do any starter. It can be lights, any of those buttons we talked about, and then go to this, then confirm into your level 2. Just keep it simple. Just do a single hard punch DP. You get that same knockdown. That alone is going to give you crazy damage. Here's what it looks like just off of 2 jabs. There, that's 32%, just a little bit more than that for an easy setup. If you get this off a shimmy, something like this, easiest combo ever, just over 45% of their health. Really good. Now, if you want to extend this and get a little bit more damage, what you want to do is a drive rush afterwards. And now we're getting above 50%. Now, the next thing you can do is, remember we talked about this ender mid-screen? This doesn't really give you real Oki like we talked about before. If you really want to enforce true set play mid-screen, spend 2 bars for the OD version and then dash forward. If you dash forward here in this situation, you get some of the best meterless Oki in the game. Very similar to the corner, you're +5, you get full strike throw shimmy here. I'm going to set Alex to just do wake up, immediate throw. Look what happens here. You can shimmy this, so he gets full pressure here, and then again, kind of like doing the regular ender in the corner, you just dash up, and then you can enforce with back medium kick, crouching medium kick for the low, regular throw, medium punch, command grab, or if you want the extra damage, OD command grab, you get a bunch, and then, you know, you can loop the whole situation again. So you have a ton of options. Now, we need to talk about drive rush combos. So Alex isn't really a character where you want to be doing normal drive rush combos too much because he actually doesn't get a ton of damage for it. Here's a really simple one, just like this. And that's really stable. It'll always work. You're never going to drop this. Only 2,403 damage. If we do the more optimal one, it'll look like this. And that puts you at 2,977. So just a couple of hundred more damage than the easy version. The problem with this combo though is if you're doing it like at max range, it tends to drop. See how that kind of whiffed? So a hard part about this character is when you're trying to do the stance transition combos, it can get really hard. So I would say if you're just trying to get this character mastered, don't worry about them too much unless you're hitting like a punish point blank, okay? Because it's going to mess you up more than anything else. So I don't really think it's super necessary. Just do this. It's really easy, gets okay damage, and just gets your reward. Another combo you're going to have to learn is how to root into his level 3. Basically, if you end any jab combo in quarter circle forward light punch, this thing right here, just root into your level 3 and you get nice easy damage. From the drive rush combo we just learned a second ago, there you go, easy damage there too. You're never going to drop that, it's super easy. Now, next we have to look at some basic counter hit combos with this character, because like I said, counter hits are really good. The main button you're going to be counter hitting with, or at least attempting to counter hit with, is going to be standing heavy punch. This is really good, not the charge version. You can also hold this down for a full charge, but I'm just talking about the regular standing hard punch. So for here, this leaves you +6. Alex's standing light kick is 6 frames, and it has really, really good range. So basically just tap him with this. If you see that it hits, you link standing light kick into DP, or if you have the meter for it, you can go to OD DP for your Oki, or if you got them near the corner and you pop them with this, you go into that combo we learned a second ago. And here, this is the easy version. There, already 45% off a single exchange, 2 bars, really, really strong. Standing heavy kick counter combos, you don't really get anything off this. You're only +3, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the next thing we have to look at are punish counter standing hard punch and punish counter standing heavy kick. So we didn't talk about his standing heavy kick too much yet. I'll talk about that in a second. First, let's look at standing heavy punch. If you get a punish counter with this, like a whiff punish, you're +8. And Alex's crouching medium punch, one of the best crouching medium punches in the game in terms of range, is going to be 8 frames too. So all you got to do is just try to hit confirm this. And this actually reaches from all the way downtown. You get 28%, really good. And again, just like before, you can get Oki. And then if you're near the corner, same thing. do this into level 2 or level 3 if you want to get the kill. Next, we need to look at the standing heavy kick punish counter things. So this move, you kind of want to think of it like Ken's standing heavy kick. You don't really get anything on block, so if I set Alex to block everything here, you're -4, so you're actually punishable if you do this up close, so kind of like Ken's standing heavy kick. You just kind of want to poke at this. Make sure you don't whiff it because it has lots of recovery, and you can get DI'd pretty easily with this, so don't overuse it. But yeah, think of it like Ken's standing heavy kick. Try to get some punish counters, try to make them whiff. When you think they're going to push a button, walk back for a second and try to hit that space. And if you do, the easiest combo off of this is just literally just heavy kick DP. If you have meter, you can do ODDP mid-screen if you want to get that nice Oki with the dash forward for +5. Or what you can also do if you have the execution and the drive meter for it, that's really simple. Gets you a little bit of extra damage there. And if you want to extend it even more, you just do this. Drive rush, stance, forward light punch, medium kick ender. And you can also end with the OD version if you want extra damage. If you don't have any drive meter to do extra OD DPs there, you can also go for something like this. Just ending in a level 1. It's the only super that's fast enough to kind of work in that situation. Gives you really good corner carry, good frames afterwards. Just a really good move to kind of follow up with near the corner. But again, mid-screen, you know, you can just keep it simple and go for something like this and save your drive meter. Those are basically all the main combos you're going to need to learn for now. You can do more advanced stuff later. That's all you really need to start off though. Then for throws, he doesn't really get anything guaranteed mid-screen, even if he drive rushes at his opponent. So you don't really want to be drive rushing. But mid-screen, you know, just walk forward, take your space, get your drive meter back sort of thing. Where this becomes strong is once you get your opponent in the corner because he kind of has a throw loop. So Alex has a drive rush throw loop. So very similar to Sagat. Although his is a little bit better than Sagat's in some ways. So here, if Alex does drive rush in the corner after a throw and he just holds down back, he's actually +2, which means he can block reversals. So I'm going to switch characters here for a sec. So here I've got Ryu set to do an OD Shoryuken on wake up. I'm going to drive rush, just hold down back and block, and there we go. So if you set this up mid-screen, this is going to be really... So if you set this up in the corner, really strong, and this gives you a really, really crazy punish counter, which leads me to my next point, what to do if you block a reversal. So your best starter for reversal punishes is going to be quarter circle forward hard punch, this heavy chop. It does crazy damage. Let's just see what it looks like. This is what you want to do. That would be a more optimal ender. If you want to keep things simple, you can just do this. Just like that. Does pretty good damage, but there's no stance canceling kind of stuff making you do some harder execution. So if you're a newer player, just doing a single chop, crouching hard punch, DP ender, or if you have them near the corner, of course, you can always just go for good old faithful this. And even with a really simple, no execution combo, that's 53% for 2 bars of super. So really, really good. Now, what else can you do to kind of enforce this throw loop mix in the corner? Well, of course, you can drive rush and throw again if your opponent decides to wake up with something like a 4-frame light punch. You gotta time this properly. Just use the indicator on the left side of the screen. If you see the counter hit over here on the left side, that means you timed it right. If you see counter hit on the opponent's side, that means you timed it too late. And if you see... And then if you see punish counter on your opponent's side, you timed it too early. So just learn that timing. It's really not that difficult. You can get it. Then also you can just enforce your same high-low mix kind of thing. You can drive rush with crouching medium kick if you think they're going to push buttons, or if you think they're going to stand parry, that leaves you +11. So you can just keep things simple. You can just link this afterwards. Back medium kick, same thing on counter hit. That's going to give you +12. So you can link into crouching heavy punch. Really, really strong. And then also if you want to just block because you think they're going to do a reversal, you can do this. Guard their reversal or wake up buttons. Really good. They might throw you in the corner, so if you think they're going to throw, you can actually just do like a delayed throw tech yourself. So drive rush at them, block for a second, input a delayed throw tech. That'll keep you safe against reversals and people waking up with throw. So a pretty okay option. just pressure them, mix it up, keep it going. Just keep in mind this does require drive meter from you, so you can't just keep on looping them forever. Okay, so now that we got some of his basic combos down, I want to talk about just like his mid-game theory and what buttons you should be pressing. So Alex actually has some really good buttons in like standing heavy punch, standing heavy kick, and like we saw, he gets really good reward off of both counter hits and punish counters for them. But you have to be careful because if you're too predictable with these, you can get drive impacted really easily, especially with standing heavy kick, because this button is not special cancelable or super cancelable. So if you push this, and even if you mash on DI, it can't come out. However, standing heavy punch, while you can't drive impact reversal on this, and you can't special cancel it either, you can super cancel this. So if you see your opponent kind of do a DI, you can react with your own level 1. So I would suggest just kind of buffering a quarter circle forward every time you push this button, and then if you see DI come out, all you have to do is like one more quarter circle forward, push, and you can react easily. And I would just go for level 1, but if you can kill, I mean, no issues at all going for the level 3. I wouldn't do the level 2 mid screen though, it's not really that great, so it's better to hold on to that meter. A really important thing with this character is you want to hold on to 2 bars so you can kind of like force them to like take tons of damage in the corner. That's really key. Next thing you can do with these buttons is both standing heavy punch and heavy kick. If you hold them, you get this charge version. Now for heavy punch, generally you just kind of always want to go into heavy chop, and if you do, you have 2 or 3 general follow-up options if this goes, okay? So you don't even need to hit, you can hit confirm this. If you're a better player, hit confirming it's great, but you can just kind of like do it, and if it hits, great. Then you just kind of like mash on back heavy kick, and you get this huge damage extension. That's 31%. Really strong. Also forces knockdown. You can drive rush after that. Or you can go for a command grab after this. There you go. This will switch sides and actually does a little bit more damage than that back medium kick follow-up we just saw. So this one is 31%. This is going to do about 32%, just under 33%. Really good. So if you have your opponent if you are in the corner and you land this, going into the command grab is a great idea because now you get to switch side. You don't really get much Oki off of this, even if you drive rush, but it's just good for switching sides. Then the other thing that's really good about this is if you have 2 bars of super and you can like, and your opponent's at like just under half health, do this into OD command grab. And then all you have to do is just like mash on any 2 punches and you get this amazing follow-up super. And look how much damage this does just off of a single like charge poke. 46%. If this is like punish counter or counter hit, it does even more. It's crazy. But this is kind of only good if you can like get the KO, because it leaves you at a really bad position, basically full screen. And because Alex is kind of a hybrid grappler, you don't really want to be full screen all the time with this guy because it's just hard to pressure your opponent. Okay, some other moves you want to poke with. One important thing, Alex's crouching jab. This is actually not a 4-frame jab. This is a 5-frame jab. So if you're trying to like break out of your opponent's pressure, you kind of don't want to default to crouching jab because it's slow. You have to go for standing jab. This is 4-frame jab. So it can feel a little bit awkward on defense when people are pressuring you and you're trying to like counter poke at them, like break through their pressure. Don't forget to do standing light punch because that's 4 frames. So both really good, you know, jabs, nothing really special to say. Just a typical crouching light kick. +2 on blocks. If you drive rush into it, you get 6, you know. Quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. You get the idea. Then some other really important moves. Standing medium punch. Crazy button. This has a great disjoint to it. This goes super far, and it is hit confirmable into his target combo. So if you do standing medium punch into hard punch, you get this great knockdown. And we're going to talk about what you should be doing here next. So if you push this button and you confirm it, you can cancel into his Prowler stance. I'm not going to spend very much time talking about Prowler stance in this guide because I think for people trying to get to master or just slightly above, you're going to kind of like blow yourself up for using this more than not because you can't block in this stance. So I would say if you're just trying to get to master, learn this character real quick in the beginning, forget this exists outside of this scenario. So what you can do after this, all you have to do is push your medium punch, hard punch, shower combo, go into your Prowler stance, and then as soon as you go into it, just dash forward once. And because he's in a stance, the frame meter doesn't show how many frames he's at, but trust me, it's his turn. So if I'm going to set Ryu to do a wake up jab here, and from here we have a couple of options. So if you just dash forward and push your regular throw, you get this nice throw. If you do jab, you can just jab, and from this jab, you can cancel this into any special move you want. If you want really good reward, you can just autopilot from stance, light punch to hard punch. And if this hits, you're going to be +6, which means you can just do standing light kick, heavy punch DP, or standing light kick OD DP ender. So it would look like this. Or easiest hit confirm of your life. Trust me, this is not hard to do. The only problem is, because you're in the stance, you can't actually block. So if you're fighting against a character like Ryu who has a meterless reversal like a DP, you can use two different things to beat them trying to like reversal out of you. You can do the light kick follow up, which is this little hop. And in this particular instance, it'll cross up. If you do this, you always kind of want to follow up into back medium kick. That'll leave you +5. You just do a jab into DP after. So like this. Or crouching jab, whichever one you prefer. And the great thing is here, if they wake up with a show, you can watch what happens. Ho ho ho, it just absolutely whiffs. You just scoop right over them. Then here, again, we can do that combo we learned before. That's really simple, really easy. And then of course, if you have tons of bar, you can go for something like that for some really beefy damage. And then if you have lots of bar, yeah, that's a really, really easy punish. I'll show you a better combo. That's pretty good damage for the meter you're getting. And then of course, if you have that 2 bars, you can always just opt for this combo. If you can get the KO, this is worth it because this simple little combo does 54%. So really, really good. Learn that. This is going to be character dependent though. Some characters, depending on their DP, he can't hop over it with his command hop out of this. So against those kind of characters, you're going to have to do the charged version of stance heavy punch. Now you can't see it here, but this actually has armor on it. And you'll just kind of scoop under and switch sides. But of course, remember, lab this against different kind of reversals because they're not all the same. The only thing is with this though, if you go for this charge heavy punch and your opponent wakes up with throw, you're going to lose. So here I have Ryu set to do normal throw here. This doesn't hit meaty, so you're losing here. So you always kind of have to guess because this target combo, you know, you can beat the throw, but you lose to like people mashing like standing light punch and stuff like that. So it's kind of, you got to take a lot of risk. So if you do land this, I don't know, just roll the dice and see how it goes. But if you're too scared, you can always just stop and stop your pressure there with standing medium punch. Some other buttons we got to talk about. Standing light kick. This is a pretty good drive rush check. If you drive rush check them, you can just go into the heavy kick DP ender. Crouching medium punch. This is the God button. You abuse this. Just don't whiff it because it has it has 20 frames of recovery. So try not to whiff this. I mean, with the range it has, you shouldn't be whiffing this anyways. And then go into something like this. One thing I gotta mention about this move, if you're the kind of person who always likes to do crouching like buttons into drive rush cancels, this is not a block string. So if I set Ryu to block all, and I say block reversal OD Shoryuken, you can't just autopilot into back medium kick because this isn't a block string. So you have to learn how to hit confirm this. So what I mean by hit confirm is when you see that it's blocked, you have to go into either standing jab or crouching jab. I would recommend standing jab. It's just a little bit better on block and stuff like that. And then they can't DP through that. Then once you kind of like fight somebody who isn't blocking and you get that hit confirm during this stop animation, that's when you want to go into back heavy kick and go into whatever combo you're comfortable with doing. If they do block this, here's how you set up your pressure. Again, Alex is a grappler, so you don't really want to be doing too much like strike throw shimmy stuff, but you are +3 here and you are in throw range most of the time. If you're hitting this at tip range, you won't be in throw range. So if you're hitting it here, you can do throw, you can shimmy them, you can go for a frame trap here. This will trade, so check this out. Crouching light punch. But if this trades, you're +7, which means you can do another standing medium punch and just follow up there on a trade. Ideally, in a perfect world, you kind of want to try to counter hit with a delayed jab, but I think that's a bit out of the scope of this guide. This is just a quick starter. You know, just take the counter hit. You get a nice easy counter to confirm. You can end with whatever you want. You know, if you have lots of meter, you can do something like that. But again, you don't have to worry about that too much. Just, you know, spend some time in training mode if you don't know how to do this already. Hit confirming the drive rush cancel. So to do that, I have guides on this. Just check out my YouTube channel. But basically, you just set the opponent to random block. And if you see him block, you do standing light punch. And if you see him get hit, I'm getting no RNG on my side. Here you go. You do back medium kick, and then you hit confirm from there. Crouching medium kick and standing medium kick are kind of like tricky to use to get this character to master. They're not super important. You don't really get much reward on hit or anything like that. The only reason you want to kind of use this is kind of like to keep your opponents from getting in on you. These are drive impact susceptible because you can't super cancel or special cancel these. But crouching medium kick can be really useful, kind of like Sagat's crouching medium kick, just to kind of control space and to stop opponents from walking backwards. And when you kind of scare them, you can like dash in for a throw, just play that kind of grappler game, churn that butter, you know? But where this button, crouching medium kick, really shines is out of drive rush pressure. So when you knock your opponent down and you're trying to like enforce your pressure, if this hits, you're +8, which means you can go into this, but you really want to go into standing medium punch. Just a few more things we got to talk about to get this character to master, I think. You have to have good anti-airs. If you can anti-air people with this character, you will be much better. So I'm going to just record Ryu doing this into this. Close, you can use the light kick version. And if they're a little bit further away, you can use the medium kick version. He's pretty good knockdown. You don't get guaranteed Oki. But if you're really confident in your anti-airs, go for the OD version. Because then you get your perfect 5-frame Oki after this. You know, it's really, really strong. But again, just light kick and medium kick. Now, you can also cross-cut this, but it's not easy. It's a really funky hitbox. But it can be done. But I would just say use the light kick version, not the medium kick version. Because sometimes you'll get some really weird things. And you definitely don't want this happening either. That's like a death sentence for you. So don't do that. Stick with the light kick version if you want to cross-cut this. But if you're one of those players that isn't really comfortable with doing DPs on reaction, don't worry. His crouching hard punch is actually a pretty good anti-air. You don't get much reward off of this. You can transition into his prowler stance by pushing 2 attack buttons plus down. If you hit this like kind of close to the ground, if you hit this with like the first frame, you can't cancel into prowler. But you can if you hit it kind of like deeper into the jump. And then you can kind of pressure that way. That's actually +1. But again, I would say if you're just trying to get this character to master, just stick on being like, you know, consistent with your anti-airs and just get that crouching heavy punch. And if you are also not good at cross-cutting, just do like jump back, medium punch. If you neutral jump this and you're really fast, you can juggle off of this. So again, if you're fighting an opponent who's kind of like doing this kind of stuff to you, we've all fought this kind of Ryu before, right? You can go like this, or you can do this. Now, I saved the command grab section of this guide for last because I think if you're trying to get this character to master, doing the command grab is going to get you blown up more than anything else. And if this is the first time you've played a grappler, you have to understand that your opponents, the number one thing on their mind is they don't want to get hit by your command grab. So they're going to be jumping and pushing tons of buttons all the time. Just having the threat of the command grab is better than actually like using the command grab itself. What I'm going to recommend is trying to go for more normal throws, because let's look at a really common situation right here. So I'm going to set Ryu to block everything. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to do standing jab. That puts me +3, which means I could go for like a guaranteed frame trap heavy command grab here. So if Ryu tries to push a button like crouching light punch on block here, I win. But what a lot of people will do, especially in like platinum diamond ranks, they're going to be jumping on block a lot, like a lot. So check this out. You'll go for this, you try to get the command grab, and they can probably beat you for that, especially if they go for a neutral jump. Like, that's it, you're cooked. You're going to be in trouble. So what you want to focus on instead, I think, is trying to do more regular throws, because the nice thing about regular throw is if you have good reactions and they try to neutral jump anticipating your command grab, well, now you can really enforce some real pressure and just loop them. And this works whether they go neutral, if they go forward. You can do this if your reactions are really good. And then if they go backwards, then you can't do it because they're going to be too far away. But if you have super meter and your reactions are really good, you can do a level 1 if they're jumping back. There's a lot of stuff you can do, you know, but just try to keep it simple. I think this is the best thing. And if they're jumping back, whatever, they're jumping back, they're getting closer to the corner. And, you know, if your opponent's jumping back, getting closer to the corner, they're accomplishing your main goal for you of getting themselves to the corner, allowing you to get this hit, taking him in the corner and then just doing like big boy damage. Last thing about this guy that we have to talk about is his defense. Alex's defense sucks, okay? He has no meterless reversal, so if your opponents are punishing you, they knock you down, and you want to get up with something like a Shoryuken, he doesn't have that. This is not invulnerable. Nothing he has is invulnerable for his special moves. Now, his supers, they are all invulnerable, but the only one you're really going to be using is his level 1, because it's his only fast super. This is 9 frames, which is still on the slower side, but still pretty fast. His level 2, 13 frames. This goes through fireballs, but again, really slow startup at 13 frames, and level 3 is 12 frames. If you're really truly like playing it like real diamond players who aren't running a sub or something, it's okay to use those moves because they're not going to know how to do it, but just know that at higher levels, or if you're fighting somebody who knows what they're doing, kind of running a sub character, your opponent can do things where they kind of like attack you when they knock you down, like they'll jab at you, and if you go for a 12 or 13 frame super, they can both meaty you when you get up and recover in time to block your slow super. So if you are going to let it rip with a super, just do the level 1. Okay, and finally, the last thing I have to show you is going to be how to deal with fireball characters. It is really hard for Alex to deal with fireballs in this game. I think fireballs kind of blow this character up. A character like Ryu, not so bad. There are things you can do, but true zoners like Dalsum, JP, things like that, it's rough. But I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do. So first thing, which should always be your first line of defense, no matter what character you're playing in Street Fighter 6, is going to be perfect parry, walk forward. If you can do this, you don't have to take much risk. You're not losing too much drive gauge. Just perfect parry, walk forward, or just regular parry. It doesn't even have to be perfect parry. Just parry, walk forward, keep your drive gauge healthy. That's the first thing you can do. Second, from far away, you can nullify fireballs. It's kind of hard to do because it sucks, but if you do quarter circle forward light punch, you can nullify it. But again, it's not really worth it in most cases from what I've seen so far. The other thing you can do is if you have a read on your opponent's fireball timing, you can go into stance and push medium kick. You get this stomp. This is going to be like the easiest way to beat fireball. So if I go here, punish counter, just do a heavy DP for now. That'll be more than enough with this character. With this stomp, if you push medium kick and hold back in the air, he doesn't go very far. If you just push medium kick, he goes like midway. And if you hold forward plus medium kick in the air, you go even more forward. Just be careful. You have to space this. If you are too forward, this has no cross-up hitbox. You can never, from what I've seen at least, cross up on the other side of your opponents. This is just really like a high risk, somewhat high risk, medium-ish reward tool against fireballs. The other thing you can do is once you have 2 bars of meter and your opponent's kind of lower on health, if you have a read on their fireball, you can just like buffer quarter circle back, and if you see them let it rip, boom, you hit them with a level 2. This gets really good damage here. 3,000 damage and decent knockdown, it kinda, for an anti-fireball. Just be careful because you have to be, there's like this spacing where it works and the spacing where it doesn't work. It also depends on which fireball you're trying to beat. Like I know here in this kind of a range, my doesn't really work too well. See how it kind of just whiffs? But against Ryu at this range, it didn't whiff. So you have to be careful with some characters. Not all fireballs are the same. Not all spacings are the same. This is something you're going to have to learn with experience about what spacing is good and which spacing isn't against fireball characters. But, you know, it's still an option. If you can beat them, they have less than 3,000 health. Try to go for that level 2 against fireballs. Really, really good. So that was my quick overview of this character. If you thought this was helpful, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And don't worry, I'm going to be putting together a full guide for this character in the coming weeks. All right, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of this guide. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, if there's something I should have added, and also let me know how you're enjoying this character. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.